This is the HaltingWinter Podcast. I'm your host, Seth Winterhalter. Today, we continue our three-part series talking about sales strategies. How can we use better sales strategies for small business success? If you're a small business owner, we want to help you. That's what HaltingWinter does. We empower small business owners to break free from the daily grind of working in your business so you can get above it and work on it. Why? Because we want to help you grow. We want to help you grow your revenue. We want to help you grow your profits. We want to help you grow your impacts. Just because you're a small business owner does not mean you cannot think and act big. Big revenue, big impact, big. Okay, anyway. So here we are talking about sales strategies. We talked last time about building strong relationships. The first key in effective sales is building a relationship because you actually care, not because you're a manipulative jerk, but because you actually want to serve your customers with your products and your services, solving problems. That's what we do as small business owners. The second thing I want you to think about when it comes to a more successful sales strategy, after you've thought about how do I build a strong relationship, is this: how do I offer then exceptional value? How do I offer exceptional value? Let's be real frank and real honest about the challenges of small business ownership. The number one challenge, I believe, in 2023, which is when I'm recording this, the greatest challenge to small businesses is the large corporation being able to be cheap. Large corporations have the bandwidth, have the financial capabilities to lower their prices, but the issue is what they offer then is cheap. Think about it. Whether it's Walmart or Amazon, whether it is now, sometimes you can buy the same things on Walmart and Amazon. But here's the thing. If I buy, a really expensive, I can buy an expensive camera on Amazon. I could do that. I could also go to B&H Photo and buy it there. And here's the thing. Is it a different camera? No, it's the exact same camera. But I know that if I have any issues with that B&H Photo order, I'm going to talk to a real person and get real solutions. If I have any problem with that Amazon order, I hope and pray that I'm going to get some solutions. I definitely know I'm not talking to no real person because there's no real phone number for Amazon, right? There's just that chat box that you hope is not being farmed out to like Mars and some alien who English is their 17th language. Like, it's risk. So that's why it's easy to buy junk on Amazon, the throwaway items versus real investments. And so if you are in trinkets and gizmos, it's going to be hard for you to make a real business. But if you offer a service, remember this: the bigger a corporation is, the bigger a business is. It's one of the things you will eventually come into if you continue to grow your business, is that you'll hire employees. And every employee that you hire that gets further and further away from you, the owner, is going to degrade your customer service experience. Why? Because it's just harder. It's harder to train. It's harder for them to embody the values. It's easier when the team is small. When you have a ton of connected time with them, you have oversight, you have culture that's really embodying your values and the way you're leading the company. The bigger the company gets, the more people get away from that, and the more you have to hope that the actual culture of your organization is healthy and thriving, because they might have 3 direct reports before they get to you. And so it's just the issue of getting bigger. Now, this is why really successful big businesses that are really good at customer service and really good at caring for their customers make culture in their organizations a top priority. Ones that don't, you see. And how? Because they just go after cheap. If one of the things I just know now intrinsically working with a number of companies is if I see that your marketing strategy is just to try to be cheap, I know that you really don't care about your customer. You're just trying to make money because that's the strategy, right? If I really care about my customer, I'm actually going to be a bit more expensive because it takes more money to care for the customer well. Let me say that again. if you really care for your customer, you're not going to bat an eye at being more expensive than the other people around you, because it shows that you are actually going to go another degree to care for your customer, or it should, unless you're just fleecing people, but you won't stay in business. See, if you actually have if you have higher prices, you've got to back that up. The only way you're still in business is because you offer such great service. So that's when it comes to this second thing that you need to think about with your sales strategy is offer exceptional value. Because number one, you can't compete with large corporations. You will go out of business if you just try to be cheaper than the other people around you. Instead, think about it different. Offer exceptional value. Number one, do that by not thinking cheap, but thinking customized. I am going to listen. This goes back to the podcast previous. I'm going to build strong relationships by really listening and solving the specific problems of my customers with my specific solutions. And that's why I can charge a higher dollar, because I'm actually listening to my customer. I'm actually communicating to them and hearing what problem do they want solved? What problems do they not care about? I might try to help. Like, again, from last week or from last episode, if that person comes in, if I'm a mechanic and that person comes in and they don't care about their car, they're only bringing it into the shop because it's smoking and it's rickety and rackety and it's a pain and they're upset that they have to spend any money, I might try to help them say, hey, we're not entitled to cars. It's a pleasure to have a car. And I want your car to be good. That doesn't mean you have to care about it. It doesn't mean you have to be a car enthusiast just to make sure that your car runs well. But I'm telling you, if you let me help you keep this car dialed in for you, you'd never think about it. You'd just be able to operate. And so let me help you with that. It seems to be a stress. It seems to be an overwhelm. Let me give you a call every 3 months. My assistant will check in and just be like, how are things going? How many miles do you have? Like, customer service, that's above and beyond. You know what? Who doesn't call me? None of the people I do oil. I'll get some emails. Hey, checking in with you. How's it going? That's one way. And maybe that's all you have to do. Maybe you don't have to call. But usually, are you doing that? Are you doing some follow-up? So offer exceptional value by actually caring for your customer and figuring out how can I serve them best. Think about, so it's not cheap, it's customized. What you offer is customized. And maybe, I'm not saying you have to have a different program for everyone. You have a different program just by listening and communicating. What's customized is your communication. You're going to communicate to them in a way that shows that you actually listened and you care about their specific problem. You're going to serve your customers in the same way, right? You do the same thing. You're not going to create a different workshop or program for every single person. No, you're going to offer, you have core offerings, but you're going to communicate those in a way that makes them feel very customized, makes them feel very heard, makes them feel very listened to. Not cheap, customized. Second, then, when you offer exceptional value, I want you to think about your unique benefits and features. Now, be careful not to share everything, but you should think, and this could be a good project for you, is to think, what problems are my products and services solving? If you've never thought about that, if you just offer them because that's what a CPA does taxes. So that's what I do. I just do taxes. Okay. You just know that you're going to have a hard problem with sales because there's a lot of people who do taxes. But have you thought about the problem, the issue? Like, for me, I want a good CPA because I don't want to go to jail. I don't want, right? I don't want the headache of not knowing. Like, I don't want to overpay the government, but I don't want to go to jail. And so, okay, that's a felt need for small business owners. I can come alongside and help you. I can make sure that the government's not fleecing you with their insane, horrible communication when it comes to taxes. I can take that stress off you. But I can also make sure that they're only getting what they really need, what they really ask of, and making sure that the rest stays in your pocket. I like that. Now you're speaking my language. Now you are helping me with my fears and my frustrations. That kind of communication goes so far in making someone feel like you value them, right? You're not just H&R Block that says, for the cheapest price, we'll do it. Okay, but for the cheapest price, I know that I've used some of those services and I've overpaid because they don't know what they're doing. Again, for the most part. Maybe there's someone good there. Who knows? Does that make sense? I want you to think I'm not cheap, I'm customized. I have unique benefits and features that I've thought about from my audience's perspective, and I've even crafted. Maybe you even adapt your products and services to serve your customer better. Think about that. Don't just do what you want to do. Think about, what does my customer actually need? And then how do I build a product? That's what that's what I continue to do. I just thought about this week. I have some workshops, right? I've got a sales workshop that I do. I have a marketing workshop that I do. And so I'm always like, hey, we have these workshops. You know what I do now? I just thought, this does not, I don't think it necessarily serves the customer best to say, hey, let's do this. Instead, I go, this is what I do. I offer masterminds. That's the big thing. I want to put you in a mastermind so that you're with other business owners, learning together, working together, and growing together. I think masterminds, that's our bread and butter. That's where we actually see the most results because, A, it's long-term. It's a 6-month program, so you're actually going to work through things and have time to put things into action during those masterminds. Plus, I just think community, it gives us accountability, so we actually do something, and it gives us relationships. You just see so much more. You see better results out of a mastermind than you do in individual coaching. At least I found that, and so that's why we love them. But I also offer workshops for people who need more time sensitive and they need some help in a specific area. But here's where I've changed. I go, you know what's better? Instead of offering, I do a sales workshop, I do what I call VIP days. You hire me, I come out for a day, and we just solve problems. What problem is it? Because what I found is when you're diving into sales, all of a sudden it's like, oh, that reveals that you know why you have a sales problem? Because your marketing's not connected. Let's dive into that. Well, if I just sell a sales workshop or a marketing workshop, I'm like, okay, well, let's keep going into sales, and then I'll come back and do a marketing. And it's like, why? Why not just try to solve as many problems as I can? Why not say, you have me for the day. This is my wealth of experience and insights. Let's tackle the problems that arise. We think going in, it's this, but I'm ready for anything. Let's tackle it, right? And so then we're able to shift and move, and it's VIP. It's about, you're going to walk away going, I feel like I got my problem solved because I was flexible enough to say, hey, I didn't just sell you one thing and say, well, that's all I'm going to do this day. It was like, let's be nimble enough to be able to really dive in deep. We think it's this, but I'm prepared for whatever. So let's actually tackle the real problem that we find. So instead of specific workshops, I do the VIP days. Makes you feel like you're going to be cared for no matter what. That I'm going to have to be flexible. I'm going to have to be nimble. You just bring the A game to really be able to dig into the weeds. And awesome. I think customers feel better going, oh, at the end of the day, I'm going to get my actual problem solved instead of, I just did this. No, now I got to do this. Now I got to do this. No, let's rock it out. So I'm listening to my customers and not just listening to their feedback, actually looking and going, how can I serve them best? So I think that's part of you. Don't be so pigeonholed into what you offer that you're not able to expand and really solve the problems that your customers have. That's exceptional value. Finally, so you're not cheap, you're customized. You offer unique benefits and features that are particular to your customers, and you offer some incentives. It's always good to think about incentives, right? I always love to go above and beyond and to think creatively on how I can do that. That's also why I charge higher prices, because then I can, right? I'll be honest, like when I started, it was like, I oftentimes would undersell just to close the door, just to go, well, if I can work with you, I'm going to cut my prices so I can work with you once so you see how good it is. So then you'll hire me again. And you know what? I'm not saying that's a bad strategy. It's not a good strategy, and this is why. Because A, then you work really hard for half the pay, and you had no bandwidth because you fleeced yourself to be able to work with them. So you had no bandwidth to go above and beyond because now you're living like a pauper because your prices are so on the edge of survival that you have no bandwidth to give exceptional value. If you're able to charge, right, not cheap but customized pricing, you're going to have bandwidth to be able to go and offer some extra things to make them go, wow, that's awesome, right? That's why with the masterminds, I'm so excited about what we want to do is launch. We want to start every mastermind if possible. Some people won't do this because of time or whatever, but we want to launch most masterminds with a 4-day retreat where we show up on day 1, day 2, and day 3 are a full immersive experience into a real, look at what an overhaul of a business is, really into the Business Made Simple framework. And then we leave on day 4. I'm going to make those those intensives so over the top with the experience, over the top with the relationship building, over the top with it. People are going to leave. I want them to leave from that experience and go, that was worth the entire price of the mastermind I've already paid for right there. And now I have 6 months of the actual mastermind to put all that stuff now to learn it deeper and to put it into application and make progress on it. That's what I want to do, right? And it's going to be awesome. But I got to make sure then, right, that I have the money to do that. What I don't want to do is, well, people got nervous, and so I nickeled and dimed it, and I can offer, frozen pizza in this Airbnb that we all sleep on the floor. That's not going to win anyone over. So just think about that. When it comes to your sales strategy, especially as a small business owner, don't think cheap, think customized. Think about your unique benefits and features, and think about how are you actually creating benefits and features that are speaking to your customers? Are they actually helping you solve your customers' problems? The more your benefits and features solve their problems, the more they're going to see you as unique, and the more the greater impetus they have to spend money on you. Finally, what kind of incentives? How are you going above and beyond? How are you how are you giving specials on once you serve them? How are you maybe putting them into reoccurring maintenance at a special price? How are you securing, taking the future worries off of their stress, off of their mind by serving them? So think, how can you offer incentives? And incentives isn't always a price break. It can be a host of things. So if you need help thinking about that, how can you offer exceptional value? If you need some help strategizing and being creative in that, hit us up. We'd love to do a VIP day with you. That might be a good VIP day. Is just sales strategy. Let's think through all the things that we're talking about. What we talked about last time, build strong relationships. What we talked about today, how do we offer exceptional value? And tomorrow we're going to talk about, or the next podcast, we're going to talk about a winning close. How do we close sales? What does it look like to make a winning close? Because I think that's where a lot of business owners struggle. They'll tell people about their products. They'll listen with empathy. They'll respond with authority. But when they have to actually ask for the sale, when they actually have to close the sale, that's when everything falls apart. So that's what I'll talk about next time. Join us. Until then, go to HaltingWinter.com. Go to the show notes and click on one of the links to one of the things that would help you, whether that's a mastermind, whether it's a VIP day. Let us come alongside and guide you towards greater growth in revenue and impact. We'd love to serve. Until next time.